To complete what I was saying, sorry that these videos are spaced out like this. I've been running out of memory, so I've had to make deletions and all types of stuff. Well, not all types of stuff. I've had to make deletions. So back to what I was saying. Getting a spiritual fix is the best fix. Or getting high on spirituality is what you should be getting high on. But it must be rooted in something strong. It must be rooted, or it should be rooted in something strong in order for that not, in order for your fixation, or let me rephrase that, your spirituality should be rooted in something strong so that you won't be harmed. Meaning, well, to give an example, if you've got a spiritual high or a spiritual fix going based on God is going to protect you from all physical harm, that's what you honestly believe, and then somebody punches you in the face, you're going to suffer more than somebody who factored in a punch in the face as a realistic and possible thing, because you were in your own fairy tale land, and the price for that is suffering. Well, you have to suffer. We all have to suffer. I'm not. I mean, I've gone through it myself, where you feel like I'll give you an example. I I thought that somehow, some way, I would be able to, because I was working and because my heart, I believe my heart was in the right place, and um, I believed I was overall a good person. I felt like I would figure out a way to stay indoors, either in a hotel or somewhere, before my money ran out, because I felt like, I don't know, somehow the universe was just going to make it happen somehow, or somehow, some way I was just going to, who knows. I don't know what I was thinking, but I felt like, I'm putting in a reasonably decent effort, and I'm a decent person, and I'm working, and because of that alone, like, that would, like, the universe or God would spare me from experiencing homelessness because of all those factors. And I was wrong. I was wrong. So I had to suffer. Now, some people might find that example I don't know, maybe blasphemous or like I'm preaching a lack of faith or something like that. But the reality is, I mean, the reality was the reality. I thought one thing and it wasn't that. Good people, good things happen to, bad things happen to good people all the time. So getting high on spiritual values is the greatest high, or the most reliable high. But it must be rooted, or it should be rooted, in realistic and sound principles. Or else you're not building on a stable foundation. I have inner peace. I keep a little high within me that I'm building on, that I'm trying to feed. I mean, to a certain extent, we all do. I mean, we all have that. But we are not actively feeding it. We should be actively feeding it, actively feeding this momentum, which, I mean, actively feeding this drive, which is bringing about, let me say this differently. The same way, the same principles involved in building wealth, we should be using some of those principles as it relates to building inner peace, which are building on a stable foundation, reliable foundation, abstaining from behaviors which are counterproductive to your goal, learning new strategies and principles to achieve your goal. So this is what I'm building on, and this is what I've been building on, and this is what has kept me out of the bar. It's kept me from, and don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to having a drink. If I really, I just don't like the feeling of, I don't like the way I feel or anymore. When I don't like the loss of control. I don't like the reliance and the dependence. I like the independence of knowing I don't need it. There's something better out there. I can be intoxicated at my best based on what's inside of me, based on my own interpretation of life. People, a lot of people would not believe the things I'm going through. But I am steadily building on that inner peace. My inner peace is being built on something stable. No fairy tales. Whatever happens to me happens to me. But it's okay as long as I know I'm being the best human being I can be. Do I make my mistakes? Yes. But I know overall, I'm trying to be the best person I can be. So I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to try my best not to cheat myself out of happiness by allowing myself to be filled with anxiety and despair and anger and all this stuff. I'm not going to cheat my days like that. I'm not going to rob myself. What's that going to get me? Just a bad day. We're all going to lose our lives eventually. And this is what people forget, that we're all going to lose our lives eventually. How are you going to live? How are you going to live? Focus on living right. If you live right, whatever happens is okay because you were doing the right thing. And I made some comments about Christians, about black Christians that I feel a little bit uneasy about, and or certain types of Christians or religious people. I'm feeling a little bit uneasy about that, but at the same time, I said it, so I have to. I prefer to. I mean, I don't, I don't wish any of you any ill will, but I would like you to change. And that's why I don't wish you any ill will, because I believe you can change. If I didn't believe you could change, then maybe I would wish you ill will, because I wouldn't want you around. I believe that everybody can change. And that, those thoughts help me reduce any anger or hatred I have. Also, I believe in karma to a certain extent, or cause and effect to a certain extent. I don't believe I don't believe I don't believe you can do bad without somehow getting bad. I mean, I don't believe you can escape the effects of doing bad things. I don't believe you're going to get away scot free. You might get away from a particular consequence. You might get away from maybe losing your life that day or that at a particular time, or you might be able to get away with not being imprisoned, but you can't get away from what you've become because of that act. You can't get away from what you become when you do bad things. You have to look yourself in the mirror. You can't get away from that, from what you know you are and what you know you've done. So that also helps me not have anger, or let's say it helps me reduce my anger towards people, because I know that it's not necessary for me to get violent. Even if it's not necessary for me to really get violent, because you hurt yourself. You're hurting yourself and the people you care about when you are becoming a bad person. You are you are at the very least indirectly hurting the people you care about when you're a bad person or when you're doing bad things. You're hurting them in ways you don't know. You're hurting them based on being a bad example. You're hurting them based on them following in your footsteps, possibly. You're hurting them because they can't rely on you. in certain ways. Maybe they can't trust you. So I'm done with that. That's all in the topic of my beliefs on religions and spirituality and stuff like that right now. All right, take care.